Big Mike here with
Hayes Entertainment.
today's episode. We got Canadian country music superstar Brett Kissel. Here we go, guys.
If you like what we're doing, hit the subscribe button.
If you're looking for a mug, perhaps a hoodie, head on over to IOnlyTouchGreatness.com.
Hey everybody, it's Brett Kissel, and I'm really excited to be a part of the I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
Ryan Hayes and Big Mike. Never stop. I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
We were the wild and the free and the wind. We were the backseat leaning in. We were the running wide open in the headlights. Hearts on fire in the midnight. We were the slow and the dance in the dust. Jack and Diane with the radio up. Living the line about loving and learning to fall and to fly. And that summertime thing. We were the song on the radio playing. We were the words the singer was singing. Yeah, we were the oh, we were the hey.
This is I Only Touch Greatness podcast with Ryan Hayes and Big Mike. We are going live.
One of you seen? I'm sorry. Boy, am I ever having a tough time.
You got it. Now? Yeah, we got you good.
Okay, awesome. Well, hey guys, Mike,
hey.
Ryan, sorry about that. Please accept my apologies, guys. Sorry.
Hey, no worries. No worries, not at all. Yeah, we thank you. We're pretty happy we got you on here.
Well, I'm honored that you invited me to be a part of this. Thank you.
Perfect. I'm Ryan, by the way. I'm the one that's been talking to Becky. And we got Big Mike as well.
Big Mike, nice to meet you.
Well, I love your guys' backgrounds. I'm looking at everything, and so obviously we've got Ryan, a hell of a sports cave, and then Mike looks like you got some great family memories. There's some memorabilia, and it looks like you've got it's either a lacrosse.
Yeah.
Is that lacrosse or is that?
Yeah, it's an old
Harry
lacrosse
Potter
stick.
Quidditch?
Not Quidditch. It's a super old lacrosse stick.
Nice.
Yeah, then he's got all the Canuck autographs in the background too.
Yeah, did you get all that at a garage sale at the Canuck stuff?
No, we collect them, both of us. Oh, I get it. Okay.
Ryan, the trip went right over your head.
Yeah, you did.
Well, here's the problem is that I love to chirp, but I understand where my Edmonton Oilers are right now in the standings, and I also understand where they're probably going to be at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you guys can dig me if you need to.
I don't know. It's hard to dig when you got the fucking best player in the world and Connor McDavid.
Well, did you that and also the second best player in the world, Leon Draisaitl, just got 6 apples last night. Like,
oh, I know.
Oh my gosh, was it ever fun just to watch. That to me was like watching a game from 1988.
Yeah, the way it kept going back and forth.
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. I'm gonna see, actually, fellas, if this might work out. I've got these brand new headphones, and do you mind if I give them a try?
Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
How about now? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, it might be a little bit better. Okay, sorry for the disorganization, but I'm ready. I'm ready to behave now.
It's all good. If it's that bad, we can cut that couple seconds out. But it wasn't too bad. And we're definitely not live anyways, so.
Yeah, I'll follow your guys' lead. I mean, I love just kind of jumping right into it, and like I said, looking at your guys' backgrounds was pretty cool. So, like, you've had so many great guests since you started.
Yeah.
That's why I immediately said yes and talked to my team about organizing this, because I could talk about country music all day, but I would also love talking about sports and rodeo and business and life. So I just thought this is all encompassing. So I appreciate you guys inviting me.
Hey, that's awesome. We love it when we can just like talk, like this is already flowing good and we don't have to be like right to the questions parts. And so that's good. Mike.
Yeah. Thanks for taking your time for today for us, man. We've been huge fans of yours forever. I went to your concert out in Abbotsford, and my wife is a huge fan of yours and your wife's. So she follows you guys on Instagram like it's going out of style. So
It's very kind of you, Mike, and I'll pass that on to Cecilia. We're at our headquarters for Deuce Vodka, our vodka company, and we work out of a secondary house to kind of manage this side of our lives and our business. And so Cecilia just left, and I was telling her that I had this podcast in the queue, and so I can't wait to tell her that Mike, you and what's your wife's name?
Ashley.
Okay, well, I'll make sure that I tell Cecilia that you say hello, and she'll pass a big hello back to, both of you guys, and you too, Ryan.
Yeah, she actually just followed me on Instagram today, and that's how I knew to go looking at the Deuce Vodka, because we're going to be hitting
Awesome.
we should be hitting you up for a sponsor on that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting game because I've always been the guy, out looking for sponsorship and the right partnership for us. On the music side. So now I can see things from the business side about what makes sense and what's going to be great for our brand. I know that you guys you're across Canada, well, actually around the world, because podcasts can go around the world, but you've got a great fan base in the province of BC and especially the western part of Canada, correct?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
So with that being said, as we launch into BC later this year, that might be a good opportunity for us to have that conversation and see what your reach is and where your listeners are. I mean, the best part about it, if people love sports, it also means they like to drink. So It's kind of a good marriage.
Yeah, it's kind
you
of
got that right.
It's a Canadian thing.
Oh, of course.
Okay, Mike, go shoot.
Yeah. So born and raised in Alberta. What was childhood like?
Well, I was very fond of my childhood. I grew up on a farm, and that is the best upbringing I think anybody could ever have. Learned a lot about hard work, late nights, early mornings. As a teenager, it's funny, I couldn't wait to leave. I could not wait to get on a tour bus or get on an airplane, especially flying, because here's something crazy. As a kid, I would always watch when planes would fly over our farm because we were so secluded. It was very infrequent. So now, as I fly all the time, not last year or this year yet, but I would do 200 and some flights a year. I would always look out my window at the farms below and wish I could get back to the farm. So that's how much that upbringing meant to me, being on the farm. And I wish I lived back there now.
Did you play any sports growing up?
Yeah, I did. I played hockey growing up. I wasn't very good. I missed my nap time as a 4 and 5-year-old. So I would sleep on the bench in between shifts. And my dad, the coach, would have to nudge me, get out there. And I'd skate the wrong way. And my dad, would just love to pick fun at me. And my brother was a good hockey player. But I played hockey till I was like 10. I played baseball from the time I was 8 to about 14. I was in Ukrainian dancing with our Ukrainian heritage. But yeah, it was just a lot of baseball in the summer. But then music really took over in my early teens. And every weekend I would have been at a baseball tournament. Well, I would choose to go and play the show. I could either play at the rodeo grounds at the baseball tournament or play the rodeo dance and get paid. So I focus more on playing country music.
Absolutely. That was my next question. So you already answered that one. Go ahead, Rod.
Okay. What's your favorite venue you've ever played in?
You know what? It's each venue, and I'm not going to give you a Miss America answer here. I'm going to try really hard to be to give you something of meat and substance here. But every venue holds a special place for me because of memories that will be associated with certain songs or what that night was about. So some guys who have played Rogers Place so many times in Edmonton or the Saddle Dome or Rogers Arena or, such and such place will say, hey, every time I play like Billy Joel at, wherever the Mets play, O'Shea Stadium, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, am I still there?
Yep, you're there.
So every time Billy Joel plays there, he's like, this is my favorite venue, my favorite night. Well, for me, as I'm still coming up through the ranks in my career, I feel very lucky that I've been able to play across Canada, now every province and every territory. But I've played now some of these places multiple times, and it's a different show every time because now you have more hits to play. Or maybe it's a fundraiser that you play, in Langley for what was it called? The Twin Country fundraiser that we did for cancer. Man, what a special night, because you're there for much more than just a concert. When I played the P&E, that was one of the biggest shows that I'd played in my life up to that point. I've played on Parliament Hill for Canada Day to 100 and some thousand people on the lawn on Parliament Hill. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Or I've played some one-on-one things for just a couple people at the Bluebird Cafe that has knocked me out. It's hard to pick just one venue because every single arena or theater will truly hold a special place for me in my heart. So I know that sounds like Miss America, but it's impossible to choose.
It really comes down to pretty much also each venue also brings in a different atmosphere, and you're picking up the crowd, playing off the crowd, and each time is a little different and a little special.
Well, exactly. And the thing about it, unlike guys who play hockey, you got guys that saying, hey, anytime you go into the Bell Center, it's a tough crowd because people are so passionate about the Habs. Or anytime you go into the Madhouse and you're in United Center, whether the Blackhawks are good or not, you're just going to get booed. If you're the star, they hate you just because they're supposed to hate you. Whereas as an artist, every time you go and play, I'm there to give somebody their best night of the week, of the month, maybe of the year. So I'm doing my best to make every night special for everybody. And so some nights that I thought weren't going to be that great because it's a Tuesday and the crowd isn't sold out and I wish I sold more tickets. Well, what they might lack in numbers, they make up for in enthusiasm, and it might be a small but a mighty crowd that kicked the shit out of the sold-out show that I had lined up on Saturday night.
Yeah.
So every show has the opportunity to be the best show.
That's true. What was it like having your first record out there at 12 years old, keeping it country?
I didn't really realize at the time that it was anything special. I just was playing so many local shows that I just needed something to sell to the grandmas and the grandpas after the show. So I made a cassette tape of a bunch of cover songs, and it turned out to be awesome. And it really put me on the path to, a really fun life and a great career.
I heard your CD release party. You got a super cool piece of not sports memorabilia, music memorabilia. Do you still have that?
Yeah, I do. I think you might have read the story, but for your listeners, would you like me to share what
absolutely.
happened?
That's what I want. Absolutely.
So May 23rd, June Carter passes away of 2003. And I wrote Johnny Cash a letter because he was my hero and my heart just broke for him. So I wrote him a letter of condolences and, I'm your biggest fan and I'm so sorry for your loss kind of thing. I put it in the mail and sent it to the Johnny Cash fan club in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And that was it. Now you fast forward a bunch of months and I've recorded this first project called Keeping It Country, which had a bunch of Johnny Cash songs on it, like Big River and the Tennessee Flat Top Box and everything. And I am releasing this album in my hometown of Glendon, Alberta. And my mom wakes me up in the morning and she says, so I've got some really good news, but I also got some bad news. I said, well, what's the great news? She said, well, your concert sold out tonight. And I didn't have to go to school because I got this big show to prepare for. And put in perspective, Glendon is a village of 300 people and we sold 600 tickets to the show. And so I'm over the moon. And she says, but the sad news is that Johnny Cash passed away this morning. And so I remember crying, I was so sad. I was, 12 years old or something. And I did a tribute to him that night. So I'm preparing for this tribute. I dressed all in black for Johnny Cash. It's the biggest news around the world. And my dad came home from work. He's a teacher, and he came home from school, and he handed me a stack of envelopes with cards from aunties and uncles and cousins. Congratulations on your CD release and your album release party. Wish we could be there. And this yellow envelope, and I open it up and it has shaky handwriting on it. Brett Kissel, box 903, St. Paul, Alberta. And I opened it up, and it was a signed 8x10 from Johnny Cash. And it said, "To Brett, Jesus first, Johnny Cash." And I got that on Friday, September the 12th, 2003, the day that he died. So yes, I still have that picture. It's framed under pretty much bulletproof glass, and it's my most prized possession.
Wow. That is awesome.
That's better than most of ours there, Mike.
Yeah, I'd say a lot better.
Yeah. Who in the music industry helped you get your foot into the door, or maybe to the next level?
Every era had their own guys that took me under their wing. In the late 90s and the early 2000s, when I was just this little kid singing at all the local rodeos, there was an Alberta star named Danny Hooper, who was amazing. Just a great entertainer, funny as hell, and I really liked him, and he really liked me and taught me what it meant to be an entertainer. And sometimes it's not about singing the song that you want to sing. It's about singing a song that somebody wants to hear. So he taught me those lessons as a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old. So I felt very lucky to have him as a mentor and a coach. And then a guy like Corb Lund, I'm 15, 16, and Corb and guys like George Canyon told me, you know what, you can't be singing cover songs for the rest of your life. You can't sing Johnny Cash songs and make a career out of it. Sing one or two a night, but you can't do a whole show because you're not a tribute act. So start writing your own songs. So Corb, taught me a lot about songwriting. So I was very grateful for that. Then in my early 20s, I really looked up to Johnny Reed, because Johnny Reed was a domestic artist who was doing great things in across Canada and selling out arenas, as well as in my late teens, early 20s was Aaron Pritchett from BC. Yep. Huge Canucks fan and an extraordinary performer. So Aaron taught me so much about how to just whip the crowd into a frenzy and how to craft a set list. So I watched him do this night after night, and I opened for him 100 times and watched how a master performer commands the crowd. Now I moved to Nashville, so I'm 21, 22, and I got to know Brad Paisley. And so Brad Paisley taught me a lot about how to run a business and how to be that elite level arena act. And then Garth Brooks, from the time, 2015 was my first show with Garth. And I've been able to do like 20, 30 shows with him. And I feel very, very lucky to have been able to open for Garth on all of his Canadian dates and just get to know him, because he's the greatest entertainer that ever walked the face of the planet of all genre. And he sold more records than anybody in the history of the United States. More records than the Beatles, Michael Jackson, Eagles. Like, this guy is the greatest of all time. And I feel so lucky that I just even got to watch him, let alone encounter him personally, or Trisha Yearwood or whatever, but just watch him play. So those are the guys that really helped me in order.
He's definitely a legend and one of the best. And Paisley's up there too. Let's put it that way. He's always going to be looked at as one of the best country singers ever to be on this planet as well.
And of course,
well, for sure.
And of course, our good friend of the show, Aaron Pritchett, who we've had on a couple weeks ago now. So.
Yeah, Aaron is awesome. With at this point in Aaron's career, reason why I think Aaron is a unicorn in our business is because he's had a storied career thus far. He's been at it for 20 plus years and has had multiple top 10 hits. He's got a #1 record recently, and he just doesn't slow down. Everybody else has a shelf life. It's like the NHL. You've got your prime, where you're a rookie, you're in your prime, then you're a veteran, and then you sail off into the sunset. Aaron Pritchett's best days may even still be ahead of him. How does this guy have so much longevity and yet still be so adored by 2 generations of fan bases? How does that happen? I want to figure out what that is and try to replicate that. So on a just in that regard, I just love the guy. I really do.
Maybe it's consistency. Constantly. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was just in studio. I've seen on his Instagrams and stuff this weekend that he was in there with Bryan Adams, which is nice.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. That's another thing.
And his connections really do run deep, across Canada. So like the guy's amazing, and I'm glad he's a friend of the shows because I mean, of course he would. Is he not part in some way of the alumni for the Canucks?
Yeah,
and doing stuff for them.
Yeah.
And the guy's a great hockey player, and he's in probably better shape than half the boys who play in the Canucks right now.
Yeah, you can chirp us all night long. I think it's 6-1 now, Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Canucks are getting shit kicked right now.
Well, it's the this North Division, and I've watched a bunch of games from other divisions and stuff like that. I don't know why I don't feel the excitement watching those games as I do watching any game in the North. I think it's awesome to see.
I agree.
I really like it for like my Canucks season tickets because now they're going to be building a rivalry with these teams, and then they're going to be going back to basically back to playing them once or twice a year, and now your ticket sales are going to skyrocket, so you could sell that game and almost make your money back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Battle of Alberta games have always been huge, and then no matter where you are across the league, but especially across Canada, you have so many people that love the Habs, and I do respect the franchise, the oldest franchise in the league. I love the city of Montreal, and I do respect the Habs. Then you've got the Toronto Maple Leafs, and there are so many players that I like on the team, but I just feel so bad for their fan base. There's this guy, and a lot of my team members, like my staff and my team, cheer for the Leafs. And I saw this guy in Edmonton at an Oilers Leafs game, and a bunch of guys in Oiler jerseys were buying this guy in a Leafs jersey beers. And I'm like, I know we're nice people in Edmonton, but I don't understand why you're buying the enemy a beer right now. And then I read the Leafs guy's jersey and had the number 67 on it. And the crest said "losers since 67." And I'm like,
I like it.
I want to buy that guy beer. Now I get it.
Yeah. Hey, while we're on that topic, you ever seen the guy that dresses up as Don Cherry?
Oh yeah, Clark Robertson.
Oh, I meant me. I do that in Vancouver. I dress up as Don Cherry and go to all the Canuck games.
Oh, do you?
I got Baloo as a dog. I cranked the siren before the game one time.
Oh, that's awesome, Ryan. I didn't. I got to check that out because I didn't know. I know that like the impersonator, the guy who does a skit named Clark Robertson from Drayton Valley, Alberta, or Calgary now. But
there's another.
But
guy.
Yeah, had you ever?
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I didn't know there was another guy out there. I might have to have some competition.
Well, that would be pretty awesome. Have you ever encountered Grapes at all or spoken to him?
No, the closest we've been is to his daughter. His daughter was out here in Vancouver, and I took a picture with her, and she sent it. She showed me that she sent it to Dad, and then also Kurt McLean took a picture with me, dressed as Don Cherry, and when we ran into him later on down the road, dressed as Don Cherry again, he's like, "Yeah, last time I seen you, I sent it to Ron McLean. He showed it to Grapes." So I'm on the radar. I just got to get to him. I would love to get him on the podcast. That'd be sweet. But
yeah, no kidding. There'd certainly be lots to talk about. I mean, especially over the last year and a bit, but even more so, it's really too bad that he left on that note with the comments that he made, and It was such a bad breakup between him and Rogers and CBC and everything. Whereas I'm a sucker for great stories. And you know what? The two greatest retirements that we ever saw in sports were Gretz and Kobe. And when Wayne Gretzky ended things in 1999 and did a farewell tour, basically, he was getting standing ovations in every market, even the rivalry markets, because everybody respects the guy.
Yeah.
And so Wayne could have played a number more years, for sure. But he left on a high note. And I really respect that. It's really tough when you see great athletes wind up being a suitcase at the end of the year and nobody wants them. You know, it's just really, really tough. And that hurts my heart just as a fan, because I love the beautiful Disney story, you know. And Kobe Bryant had an incredible farewell as well in his last season as a Laker. And everybody, you know, was giving him keys to the city and trophies and charitable donations in his name. To like, what a great way to leave the game. So Don Cherry, with all of his controversy, still had enough of a name prior to the big comments at the end.
Yeah.
And I really wish he would have announced, this is my final season, and then get every athlete of yesterday and today, all the big stars of today, like Ovechkin and Crosby and McDavid and Matthews and Marner and Carey Price, and everybody just be like, great, it's all the best to you. See you later, ride off into the sunset. And then everybody like Bobby Orr and Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier and Guy Lafleur and all these guys be like, farewell, greats. You know, hope you had you're God's gift to hockey. Thank you for everything. And that could have set up Don Cherry for another decade worth of public appearances and speaking engagements and books and maybe his own podcast if people really missed him, which I know he and his son have a podcast.
Yeah, they do.
But it was just really unfortunate for everybody. The controversy, you know.
I think they were just waiting for one more thing just to get rid of him, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And in 2012, during the lockout, you wrote "Hockey, Please Come Back." Did you know it was going to blow up like that?
Not at all. I just wrote it because I was mad. I was mad that hockey was gone, and I was mad that my wife was sitting down to watch TV, and Real Housewives of Vancouver and New Jersey, New York, Atlanta, Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, and every other damn city in the world had Real Housewives. And I looked at my PVR and I thought, this is bullshit. Like, hockey, please come back. And then my wife, she's awesome. And she looks at me, she's like, well, why don't you just go write a song about it? So I did. And in 15 minutes, I wrote the song and we did a music video for it. And I couldn't believe that. Like, we had like 10,000 views in like the first half an hour.
I know, it blew up. And then you signed with Warner Music. Your debut single started with a song, became the most added song at a Canadian country radio in its first week, surpassing Taylor Swift's record. What was that like?
I didn't realize that statistic was a legitimate statistic until months later. Sometimes those things are verified, you know, later once you do get your spin count and you realize how many ads you get at radio across Canada. So that was really cool. But during that promo week and weeks leading up to the single dropping and then the record dropping, I was in such a bubble of promo mode and shaking hands and kissing babies and meeting everybody I could that I had no idea what the song was going to do. But I'm very grateful that, you know, we've got a Canadian record. Like, I grew up on a farm. Like,
yeah.
I beat a record by Taylor Swift. Like, I didn't think that was possible.
And you've obviously been killing it ever since. You're always blasting in my car. JRFM plays your music a ton. Some of my favorites, 321, We Were That Song, Drink About Me, just to name a few. What went into those ones? And where'd you come up with the idea?
Well, Drink About Me, a friend of mine named Matt Rogers wrote the song, and we sat side by side at the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, and we were doing a Songwriters in the Round performance. And Matt, I was the host and performer, and I said, Matt, can you play a song that you wrote that you cannot believe has not been recorded yet? Because he's had number ones with Tim McGraw and Brett Eldridge and Florida Georgia Line and stuff like that. I said, yeah, there's a song called Drink About Me. I'll play it. So he played it, and a sold out Bluebird, like all of us had our eyes wide open and our jaws on the floor thinking, what an incredible song and what a great chorus. And I told him, I said, well, if you let me have that song, give me permission, I'll record it. And he said, all right, you heard it. And everybody cheered and I shook his hand. Now that's a no-no in the business. You need to make sure you run it past your record label, your producer, your managers. It's a big team decision. But I told them that very next day, I said, guys, I got our first single for the new record. It's called Drink About Me. And they're like, well, hold it. You can't. I'm like, no, I already committed to Matt Rogers. We're doing it. So they heard it. And luckily they loved the song as much as I did. So Drink About Me was a life-changing song for me because it's also like, I think it's about to go platinum. If it's not a platinum record already, it was a number one. Like every measurable statistic you want a song to hit. I mean, we crushed it. And that's thanks to guys like you, Mike, and guys like you, Ryan, for listening to it on a regular basis.
I mean, I just played it like 10 times before we came on here just to get in the mood.
Oh, that's good. That's 10 cents a spin, buddy. So you just made me a buck.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, I'm guessing I might know this answer already as this conversation I've learned, but if you could sit down for dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be?
Well, I love that question. A lot of it has to do with my mood, that day. But quite frankly, it'd be Johnny Cash. Like if Cecilia and I got to sit down with Johnny in June, I just think that I'd learn so much. I don't even think I'd ask him about music. I'd ask him about his faith. I'd ask him about life on the road. I'd ask him about his victories, his regrets. I mean, I think I'd learn more in a dinner with Johnny Cash than I could in 4 years in a music degree or 4 years in a philosophy major, course at a university. Like he's just the greatest.
Okay.
Mine I always go with Muhammad Ali. I just love to pick that guy's brain.
Yeah, and then for me, I got a couple. I usually say Hulk Hogan or somebody like that, but I thought about it more a little, and I think it would be Seth Rogen.
That'd be a good one. You'd be laughing the whole time.
You could smoke together.
I think that the sky's the limit of guys like that. Like Seth Rogen would be incredible. Muhammad Ali would be incredible, each in their own way. Hulk Hogan, I bet you the guy's got a million stories. One of the greatest, in sports entertainment of all time. I would say him, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin are probably the three greatest, as far as fan base and notoriety and their impact on the sport.
You watch wrestling?
But also, oh yeah, big wrestling fan, especially in the Attitude Era. Man, I'm disappointed with wrestling now to a degree, but I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin had something to say. The heels were real heels.
So we just had Kurt Angle on like last week.
Oh, I was going to talk about Kurt Angle. It was amazing how great of a heel he was when he first came in 98, 99. And when he won the WWF championship on that giant Hell in a Cell match, when Rikishi got chokeslammed by The Undertaker off the cell, like I remember watching that on pay-per-view and I thought Rikishi died. Like I thought, like, oh my God. Like, and Kurt Angle wins the match. Like how was your conversation with him? How was your conversation with Angle?
It was awesome.
He's very friendly, very polite and down to earth too. Like you could just see like he was appreciative of our time. We had about 45 minutes with him. But we had a lot more questions to talk to him about. He's so easygoing.
Yeah.
So, he was telling us about like slamming Shane McMahon's head into the glass and how the glass wouldn't shatter and all this stuff. It was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. And then he went to TNA. And is he not back in WWE now?
He went back to WWE, got his Hall of Fame run in WWE. He even did the GM for a while, and then I don't think he's doing it right now. Probably taking a break.
It's very interesting. I love to ask him about the contracts and the storyline. So if he has a 1-year contract, they write him a storyline for a year, and what's the exit strategy and stuff like that. I would like to ask him about all of those behind the scenes.
He actually told us Yeah, he told us in the very beginning that like when he came out of winning the gold medal in the Olympics, they offered him this crazy contract, and he turned it down. He's like, I'm not wrestling this joke wrestling. Like, I'm a real wrestler. And then eventually he decided, you know what? A couple years later, he's like, I actually want to do this. And the contract was like 1/10 of the money he would have made the first time.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, and we got him to put on this little cowboy hat that Stone Cold Steve Austin gave him.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that clip vividly.
Yeah, so he put on his cowboy hat and he sat there for us for a few seconds and answered a couple questions in the cowboy hat.
That's really cool.
Okay, Mike, shoot another stat.
Yeah, Brett, you won so many CCMAs and Junos. Do any stick out more than one another?
My first Juno was amazing, and it was in Winnipeg, and because I went full Ovechkin on the celebration. And I mean, I was 23 years old, and my wife and I, we just and everybody was there, and everybody was so happy for us. And I was so happy to just be included with the sheepdogs and Jim Cuddy and Blue Rodeo, and just everybody was there. It was unbelievable to be in that category and in that conversation. That the booze got to me that night big time. And I remember getting, because you're kind of assigned by the Junos a vehicle that drives you around wherever you want to go, that weekend. And so I had this 15-passenger van, and me and my band, all the sheepdogs, and a few other guys, like some country guys and stuff like that. We all piled in this van. And I'm like, guys, I'm buying everybody McDonald's. It's 5:30 in the morning. And I went, and I remember having a bit of an argument with the person on the drive-thru, because we all wanted, I think I said something stupid like, I need 75 quarter pounders with cheese. And they're like, sorry, it's breakfast. Like, bullshit, it's not breakfast. Like, we need burgers. And they're like, no, it's only breakfast. So I ended up getting like 65 McMuffins. So it wasn't enough. It wasn't as good. But I remember sitting in the lobby of the Fairmont Hotel in Winnipeg and just crushing egg McMuffins. And then my alarm goes off. I've still not gone to bed yet. And my alarm goes off. Shit, I have my Nexus appointment. So I had to get in that same van with my wife. And we are like just wobbly. And we stumbled into the Winnipeg airport.
Smelled like a brewery too.
Yeah, I mean, we drank the city of Winnipeg dry and ate McDonald's out of all their eggs and English muffins. And I arrive at Nexus, and these are American border guys, and they can see that I've gotten into one, or I'm still currently riding my high. And the guys hold up the paper from the Winnipeg Free Press like this. They're like, is that you? And I said, yeah, look, I'm on the front page. And they're like, oh, we thought that might be you. And they're like, you had a good time last night. And I said, I'm still having a good time. I said, don't tell us that. Just give us your fingerprint, take your picture, and head out of here. So my Nexus picture for the next 5 years to 2019 had quite the story. I looked more like the Hunchback of Notre Dame than I did a country singer.
You've been called the new king of Canadian country by the Canadian press. What's it like hearing something like that?
I don't really believe it. I'm grateful for it, but you know what? Maybe you can ask me that question when I'm like 60 or something like that. I feel
Fair
like
enough.
I've got a long ways to go. It's like, really, have you done anything in hockey? Unless you're like Wayne Gretzky, or unless you've won a couple Stanley Cups or something like that. And I feel the same way in music. It's Garth Brooks is the greatest entertainer of all time. George Strait is the king. I feel grateful that I've been able to do some really great things in Canada. But it looks, my publicist likes to use it, but I grew up on the farm,
So
yeah.
what award to you would be your Stanley Cup?
Well, in Canada, for sure, it's those Junos are amazing, and the fans' choice. The fans' choice at the Canadian Country Awards is so special because it's not voted on by the industry. It's voted on only by the fans of country music, and a fan doesn't vote with a camp. A fan doesn't vote. A fan votes with the heart. Do I love, the Reklaws? Do I love Terry Clark? Do I love Johnny Reed? Do I love Brett Kissel? And if your name is called that Sunday night, you find out your answer. And it's the greatest feeling.
Do you have any pre-show rituals? I know Aaron Pritchett does the fireball shots.
Yeah, I've got a bunch actually with my band. We'll always have meetings. We run it like a camp, or like a real team. We will have team meetings. We're going to go over our set list. We're going to go over what's unique about the show tonight. If we're in Niagara Falls or Charlottetown or Nanaimo or Iqaluit, we will talk about what's unique about the show. I will always try to give a bit of a pump-up speech to talk about our history and what we're here to do tonight. And we've got 900 people out there that have decided that they're going to come and visit us on a Tuesday night. We need to give them everything that they've got. Or, guys, this is New Year's Eve. They're already expecting a 12 out of 10. Can we get to 20 out of 10 tonight? That's our job. So it's always a speech. And then we always put our fists in the middle, almost like a huddle, but a 3-2-1. And then we'll go 3-2-1. It's Vancouver, baby, woo! Or we might say something completely random because one of our band members is having a birthday or just announced that he's getting married or they're about to have a baby or something like that. We always drop an F-bomb in there, 3-2-1, it's F in Vancouver, baby, woo! But my tour manager, Kevin, he, in the off season, 2 years ago, in between our tours, he can't wait to go home. We've been on the road for a year. We played for 10 plus months, did 118 shows, and it was no longer the countdown to the end of the tour. Kevin Bushy, who lives in Truro, Nova Scotia, my tour manager, every conversation he had with us was like, I just can't wait to get home and just lose myself in the bush and chop wood. I'm just going to chop wood all day, and I'm just going to, sit by my wood-burning stove, and I'm going to sit with my wife and my kids. I just can't wait to chop wood. And that's the thing, just couldn't wait to get home and chop wood. So it wasn't countdown to the end of the tour. It was countdown till Kevin could chop wood again. Well, lo and behold, if he doesn't go home, and on day 2 being home, he cuts off his finger, his pointer finger. And he sends us a picture from the hospital. His finger is gone. So now when we do our 3-2-1, we don't put our fists in the middle. We hold one of our fingers back to make him feel like part of the family. And we hold our hands in there with an amputated first finger, and we let Kevin give the charge. And just to remind him that he's an idiot who cut off his finger, and we go 3-2-1, and then whatever he wants to say, we say. So that's our ritual.
Okay. Talk a little bit more about this Deuce Vodka. I'm a huge vodka guy, and I'd love to try it. Are you guys only in Alberta right now?
We're in Alberta and Saskatchewan. We're going to be getting our distribution set up in BC for sure by the end of the year. We're hoping by the summer. Deuce Vodka is an incredible company and a great product that really blew me away the first time I tried it. Matt Doucette, the owner of Deuce Vodka, he reached out to me on Instagram the same way you guys reached out to me and said, hey, I'd love to talk about a sponsorship opportunity with you because I'd done stuff with JP Weiser's and Budweiser and Long Shot Wine. And I said, well, you know what, let's have a meeting. So he came to see me in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. I was performing with Brad Paisley, and Matt came and brought his vodka down with his girlfriend, Kelsey. And as I sipped on it backstage, I was blown away because we all know if we've all enjoyed great spirits, sometimes with a scotch or a whiskey, You want that flavor. You want a bit of the burn. You want a bit of that taste. When you're drinking vodka, whether it's straight, which is very uncommon, or you're mixing it, you don't want that rubbing alcohol smell. You don't want that burn in your nose, that burn down your throat. You want something that's smooth. And there's very few vodkas that are actually smooth with a little hint of just like sweetness and softness. Well,
I was just gonna say, you
What's
definitely don't want that. You don't want that Alberta pure shit.
Hey, you know what? As I'm learning as a vodka owner, I will get fined if I discount other brands. Now, Mike,
Okay.
you said it. I didn't say it. And I can neither confirm nor deny about how I feel about Alberta Pure.
Yeah.
All right,
But
fair enough.
what I can tell you, am I a politician or what?
Sounds like it.
So when it comes to Deuce Vodka, it's extremely smooth. There's no impurities to the vodka. We have an elite filtration system that differentiates us from every other vodka around the world, which is why I'm so proud of this company and this product. And also we have a great flavored vodka called Deuce Neon. And neon flavored vodka is the most exciting new vodka to hit the market in a long, long time. So we're really excited to, well, see, that's the best part about it. That's marketing 101, right? You got to try it. You got to try it to find out.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
I like my vodka and definitely my flavored vodka. So
Okay, I'll be sending you guys each some bottles, okay?
Hey, that's a great idea.
I don't mind paying for that. That's awesome. I love my
exactly.
vodka. Thank you very much.
And one thing also, this one thing also, the if we could get the logo sent over, we could add that into the interview as well.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I'll make sure that we provide that for you for sure. And before we let you guys go, what's the score now in Canucks and Habs?
Well,
6-2.
6-2 Montreal.
Hey, they might be coming back.
Oh God, yeah.
Right. Hey, we got a couple more, Mike. You have a couple more, right?
Yeah, I just want to hit him with a couple more if possible. Yeah. What's been your go-to quarantine snack and your go-to drink?
Well, drink. I've literally tried everything. I went through a bunch of different kicks of, Bailey's in my coffee in the morning, and a beer and Clamato in the afternoon, and wine at dinner, and then a great after dinner cocktail. But I have settled on Deuce Vodka. Like my whole family is drinking it now. My extended family and my grandpa, I think he's the most proud of this brand because he's been a vodka drinker all his life, and good Ukrainian Polish guys. So
definitely.
Yeah. Vodka has been my go-to drink and go-to food. My wife is such a great cook, and she's experimented with so many things. Like she could go on MasterChef as a home cook for sure. She could. And so I've gained the full COVID-19 pounds this pandemic.
One last one. What do you think of Conor McGregor getting knocked out in the second round? Did you see that coming?
I'm really disappointed. I'm sad for him. I didn't see it coming. I thought with his level of expertise and his newfound professionalism and still his instinct, I'm an armchair quarterback here, and I've never been in a fight in my life. But I just felt that he had so many opportunities to just keep punching. And he's such a great striker. And there are a couple of replays where Dustin Johnson was counting Tweety birds around, or Dustin Poirier was counting Tweety birds around him. And I'm thinking, all right, here it goes. And then what? So I don't know. I was disappointed to say the least, because I love it when winners win. Like so
who wins the Super Bowl this Sunday?
You know what? Again, I want winners to win. I want to see Tom Brady do it again. I want to see Tom Brady go down to Tampa and I don't know enough about the story if he left New England on bad terms or if he.
Not really.
But
He didn't leave on bad terms, but they they kind of mutually just split ways.
So I want him at 40, whatever, to go there and become the greatest of all time and throw touchdown after touchdown and just give it to Kansas City. I just not a fan of Kansas City, and I just want, Tom Brady and his Buccaneers to win a championship. I really hope he does.
My last question I have for you is, who's your favorite sports hero?
Previous generation is Wayne Gretzky, who then trumps and is that of all time for sure for me. But I'm really, really good friends with Jordan Eberle, and I follow his career, and I love the guy, and he's one of my best buddies, and so he's a hero for me. He was a hero before I met him, and he's an even better guy now that he's given me a couple lessons on how to dangle, and I've given him a couple lessons on how to play guitar.
He scored one of the most beautiful, nicest first goals ever in the NHL. That one goal where
I agree.
And he wears number 14 like me, so I've been a big fan of him all the way since that World Junior goal that he scored.
Oh, and what a stacked team that was. Like and honestly, Jordan is just such a nice guy, just a great guy, and he's a great golfer, and he's a great guitar player and a great singer. Actually, I don't even know why I like the guy, because he's so good at everything. It kind of pisses me off,
Hey, Brett, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time for us today. We're huge fans of yours and your wives, obviously, and it meant a lot to us to be able to talk to you. I mean, we watch you all the time. Every time you come to Vancouver, we try and go to the concerts, and we're always blasting your music, and thanks again.
Pleasure's all mine, Mike. Thank you. And to you too, Ryan. I appreciated this. It's great to talk sports with you guys, and let's do this again whenever you'd like, and whenever the world opens up and we do come back to Abbotsford, Vancouver, or wherever we're going to be. Let's get you guys backstage for a cocktail, a little Deuce Vodka, and we'll visit face to face.
That'd be sweet, buddy. That'd be sweet.